2012
There's
because
nothing
I worked
that
with
we
family
identify
Okay.
My daughters went to
that is
Providence High
going to
School,
make change,
Yeah.
that's going to do
and then
something.
my oldest
So
went to Western
we
Carolina,
started York
Mhm.
County
and then my
Rising
youngest, she
unofficially
started at Greensboro,
back
and
in
she had the
January.
hometown
Okay,
honors
wow.
there. She came back
Early
to Charlotte
starters.
and went to
Yeah,
UNC
it's
Charlotte.
very fresh.
Yeah, that happens.
And then my son,
What we had
he's
a
in
vision
Western
for
North Carolina.
was
So
something
they
that
went,
the community
Love Western
wanted.
North Carolina.
Something that
yeah, they're in
could be
Silva.
created by the
Okay,
community
yeah.
for the community.
They ended up, my
So
daughter was already
first,
there,
we had to start
and
somewhere.
they ended up
So
going back, and my
being, working with Move
daughter-in-law
On, noticing
got
again
her
there wasn't
doctorate
an
in
event
physical
in the
therapy,
area.
and my son has his doctorate in
The campaign was
psychology.
Us Not Musk. So
But he
I
got
had
his master's in
pop-up
social
day
work.
before planned
So he came back, and they
protest.
both went there,
And it
and
was
Lizzie's
from
like, they
that
followed me here.
protest that
And
someone
so
said,
she wasn't happy,
you know,
but
you
they
should
never
you
let,
should do
because they
this
have different last
regularly. And I
names,
was
they never
like,
let their professor
we
know.
really
He was her
we
TA
really
for a
should.
class.
And
Oh, wow.
it was
And
where
she
you
only
get
got an A
ideas
minus
from.
in that
It-
course.
yeah,
She was
it
really
is.
pissed
People
at
can
them.
share
And
great things.
And
we're
you
at
know,
her
that's part
graduation,
of
and
it.
Dr.
We
Wong is
we
looking at
didn't
Kenny
say,
going,
oh, we're going
why
to
are you
start
here?
here
And
and
he's
we're
like,
going to be at
Dr.
this point
Wong, it's so
in
nice for you to
August.
finally meet
We
my
started small and
sister.
said, okay, let's do
And
what we can do.
he's like,
Let's
Kenny,
start really
I
small
was her
with
advisor,
these
and you're her
bi-weekly
brother.
protests.
So that was
We
funny.
had
That's
a
awesome.
meeting at the Mercantile
I've
I've
talked
been
to the
here to see
all
what
but
it
5
was
years.
that the community
I
wanted.
Cool
am
place. I like
from
that
Rock
place.
Hill.
I've never been,
I
so
lived
it's
in
cool.
Seattle
It is
for
a
5 years.
fantastic place. It
Great
is such
area,
a
but
very
supportive
expensive.
environment.
Oh, it's very
that just
expensive.
happens to be a store.
Even back
So
when I went,
it's really
I
it's
was
a really
there from
cool
02
place.
to 07.
But they let
And
us use the space.
I moved out
for
there
free.
as an AmeriCorps
We weren't
Vista.
Okay.
we weren't
They,
having a
paid
wedding. We weren't having
lots
any
of
kind
money
event like
for
that.
me to
But we
move
were
across the
members of
country.
the community.
And then,
I've
they
known
had
a lot of
something
people
to
in
say.
AmeriCorps that
And we
are on
wanted
food
people
stamps when
to
Yes,
give us
absolutely.
input. Like, what
And
do you want
that's
in an
very
organization?
common. That's one of
What
the
do you
things
want
that
in a
they kind
community
of like in their
action?
when you get
So
together with them, everybody
from
in
that,
person.
we kind of
That's
we
kind of one of
gleaned
the
that,
things that they tell
okay,
you.
we know
is
what
that,
people don't
we're
want.
going to tell you
That
now
was the easiest
how
part.
you can
We
get
know what people
public
don't
assistance.
want.
We
Because
know
your
now
income
what
isn't
is
too
pay.
much.
We
We
know it's a
know
living
that,
stipend.
right now,
And at
we
that
have to
time,
build something.
it wasn't even
first.
$700 a month.
And
the
so
protests
here
were
I
kind of a
am
natural
living
way
to do
in
that.
this expensive as hell
So
city.
we kept bringing people in.
I didn't
and
qualify for
meanwhile,
food assistance
our vision
because
is about
this
previously
this
made
progressive
too much money.
community.
So where
it didn't
through
exactly
this
line up
through this
to
meeting
where
people,
I
through
could
this
get
having
public
solidarity.
assistance.
So
through this
getting
being
in community,
almost
providing
$700 a
people
month
a space
and
to
seeing
rent,
not just to
the
grieve,
but at
the
this
least
point,
desirable
they were pissed off.
areas.
Yep.
At this point, they were very pissed
It was
off.
close to 500.
So the protests
you had
very
Nobody,
way
yeah, I know.
to start
yeah,
out.
and it was. I mean, I
That's
got
how
a
we've
basement
met
apartment
so many people
that had that.
That's how we
the ceiling
have,
type that's not
brought more
just the
people
popcorn, but that is the
that's how
drip
we
down
have been
kind.
able to
So
maintain
when I stood up, sometimes I've
excitement
hit my head on that.
is through
So,
these protests.
yeah,
So
there
now,
was. Where do we go?
I experienced a
Next
lot,
step
and I'm glad I
is,
experienced a
okay,
lot.
we've got the
people, we've
it
got
really-
the attention, we've
it
got some of the
really
resources that we
brought
need.
me back
Because
not being
I
paid
had
by
never
Soros,
been,
like, the
close
right
to
loves to
homelessness.
say. We're,
And
that's
that
not
was the
how that's
closest
not how
I'd
it
ever
works.
been
Not how
to
it works,
homelessness.
no.
I
And,
mean,
I would love
nowhere
to
to
get
get
those
challenging.
those
You don't
Soros
Yeah,
checks.
realize
I mean,
how
that would
no,
make it a whole lot
people are
easier.
so expensive launching anything,
Right.
you don't realize
It's getting
scary.
getting a
It
website.
is.
Yeah.
I actually advertising. My son owns the house I live in. It's a challenge. So I pay him rent, but
It is.
I had because
And
well, we'll talk.
organically
We'll
again,
let you get back on track,
it
and I'll
just
shut
so
up, or I'll
happened
just
that
take
the
over. And we've
skill
actually
sets
had a
that
couple of
each of
people
us
join, so
that we
we're
had
babbling, and we have
worked.
people
It
watching.
worked
One of
together.
them's my kids, and they've heard my
I
story.
being
So,
more the social
but go ahead.
being
more
outgoing,
and
being
that
more
close to
extrovert
homelessness, that's
than
so close to
introvert.
it, because I mean, it was a period
I had that
I was
capability.
fortunate.
The
I had a
other
car.
had that
Like
that
I had a
background of
vehicle
organization.
like
It
getting
wasn't ideal. It
everything
wasn't
together,
great,
getting
and it never
information
is.
out. But
And
I was
just
lucky
kind of
enough
became,
to have
the
a vehicle
communicator of
that
this.
I
So
could sleep in.
we got the
I was lucky
folks.
enough to
We've got
find,
the energy.
people to
Again,
couch
where do we go
surf.
from here?
So
One of the things that we
it
originally
worked out.
talked
In
about
the end, it
was
worked
being
out.
in the community with
So
community
I
service.
think that's really,
But also
with
holding
the
people combination
accountable.
of
Holding
coming out
Ralph
in the
Norman
90s,
accountable.
holding,
Holding,
immediately
these
being
folks
involved
that
with
are
the local
not
organization Time Out
representing
Youth.
us as
It
a
was
whole.
Like
it was
he
an
said,
infant. It was just about
I
an
know it's
infant
going to
at
cost
that
more
point.
money,
I
but
think it
it's
was
for
5 years
it's for the
old when I
betterment of
joined.
us. It's like,
So
really?
starting
Spending more
there
money is
and
good?
being intensely
And Nancy
involved
Gates
in
is just
volunteering
a crazy.
was
I
really where
know
I
she was
found like
sexually
this is
abused. She
so
talks about it all
satisfying.
the time.
This is
So,
this
get over it
this is
and
really how
don't
I'm
have an
getting
issue with gay people
my
and
story out
trans
there, but it's
people
also
because
how
you
I'm helping other
were
people
sexually
because they
abused.
don't
What does that
have a
have to do with
place
gay or
at the
trans?
table.
Right.
So
All of that to say,
I don't want
that's why I'm
to
involved now.
diminish anybody's
That's why-
experience,
That's awesome.
but
York County
lashing out
Rising
at a group
kind
of
of
folks that
organically
are not
came
the
about.
enemy. I was
is
volunteering
really,
with Move
disturbing,
On,
but
as
also
in the
it's
community support
unproductive.
team.
Especially when you
that next
worship
month, the
Donald
election
Trump,
happened.
who is a sexual abuser.
So
Right.
the
Proven.
election happened.
Right.
And
Guilty.
a lot of
A lot.
of
Guilty a
Democrats,
The last election,
So
yes,
2024.
holding
Okay.
these folks accountable,
2024
showing up.
happened.
We and just
there
about
got
was
arrested
a last
call.
there was
Not this
a
past
mass
Friday,
call
but
the
all the
five
day
different
before,
progressive organizations
because we showed up at Ralph
and
Norman's
even
office
some
with
Democrat
some
led
postcards
organizations
that we had
all
just
came
written
together and
said,
we
"Oh my God, we need to
walked
breathe.
down
We
from
need
the
to breathe.
mercantile to
This is
his
not
office.
what we expected."
And
We can
what
be
should have
angry,
been
we can be
incredibly
upset,
simple.
we can be
all of the
what should have
emotions.
been
That
I have no
straightforward
idea.
process
If
that we
people are going to
are
join
let's
or
take
not,
that
so
right
that's why I
now
was
under the
looking for you to
Constitution.
invite. I
Not
sent out
over.
a ton
Became
of
an
emails,
issue.
so we'll see.
Yeah,
We
became
are worth
So,
that
but I will
nine
show it
people.
on my
So 9
on
people. It was
YouTube
from
channel
that. There was
tomorrow
a
and I'll put it on the
deliver
website.
this
So I do have
of
subscribers, so we're getting there.
where
I'm up
suddenly
to
have a town hall,
57,
a
set up
terrifying
awesome
town hall, or
nice
rather a
people.
community gathering.
When
You'll
get
and
I mean,
through
I
those
don't
community
see
gatherings,
myself
nobody
as a
else
But
was doing
thank
one in the
you.
area.
I
So I was
appreciate
like,
it.
oh my gosh, if
So-
nobody
I don't
else is
see
doing
anybody
one,
We only
that
I need
was
to jump
teach you have
in
no
and
voice.
with us
least
We
as
only
one in
have
our area.
Thank you, because
Thank
I
you.
will get this done for
I
Nancy
didn't
gluten
know,
free.
anything.
Yeah.
People
That will
suggested
be a
places that I would,
stereotype
would look at the
version.
venue
So
and I would
we
say,
only
oh
have
my
so
gosh,
just talk
they
and
charge
enjoy
me to
and
rent
have
this
fun.
place.
I
So
gotta go.
eventually I
I
settled
need
on
to Well, we did.
change
I
my
haven't been arrested yet,
on
so
Zoom.
it's
Community.
something.
I am not representing
I'm older.
During that
It's
Zoom
gotta be
community
something I
meeting,
achieve in my life, really.
I think that's
that's
part
part
of it, right? I mean, that's part of the
goal.
experience.
is
just happen to be
making
on
good
that
trouble.
community.
I'm part of the community.
Is
So
getting in
we
trouble.
met on that call. The
It
only
is.
person.
And John Lewis
So
was
yeah,
an
we
amazing
we do
man.
Zooms. You see, I don't know
And
if you can see it.
one of the
There,
greatest
that York County
experiences of my
Rising
life.
really
Okay,
came.
I know how to move on, but it was story. So
It was so organic,
for me.
Are you?
and it came
But I
out
like
of that
the York
feeling
one because
of
it's right here, and I can go.
what are we
The
going
church
to
is
do?
closed
Let's
because I don't
take our
drive very far.
emotions
So
and
Yeah.
not just feel
so
them,
yeah,
but
but we like that
now
one, and I'm
felt those
also
emotions.
trying to
Let's
get
turn
I
this
think
into
from the
action.
to give
When
tours of the park to start. I think
Really?
they made sure they had money for I have my son-in-law, and they earned Hillary, and he did an amazing video. And then we went to the Evan, that was amazing. And he won. He's running for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that I walked
Oh, really?
across girls came out of town. He's actually when he actually won. My son and I were out right now.
Okay.
Going
Yeah, I was
good
going to
or
ask you
bad, so I
what
only
part of the
walked one
state.
way. And we were
Yeah.
we were originally that museum from that was the museum.
Okay. Wow.
In Rock Hill, and I happened to be in the hospital. We're not originally, we're from Cleveland originally.
Okay.
He did a great job. So we've been in Charlotte, and we've been in North Carolina since 2010.
Wow.
And so we moved down. It was a crazy time. 2000. But I worked for Family Dollar. Incredible.
Okay.
And my daughters went to Providence High School, Alaska. And then my oldest went to when they Western Carolina getting. And then my youngest started at Greensboro, I did a lot. And when they were trying to bring her around Charlotte, out of my, I hadn't gone to renovation.
That happened.
And I thought my son, he's in Western trying to kill me. So I bet
love Western North Carolina.
Yeah, they're in
Oh my
a
gosh.
lot of good
Okay, yeah.
videos and
Wow.
articles. They ended up that group. My daughter was
Wow.
on his there, so and one of my goals is going back, and my daughter-in-law.
Yeah, I imagine once you're buying.
Doctorate in physical
Yeah.
therapy. My son didn't believe.
Oh no, that's
wouldn't call.
and
I wanted
talking
him to
about
call
you're talking about
to
the
get the FBI involved, and he wouldn't.
Okay.
Giving,
help to and allowing homeless people to work
so she wasn't happy, but they
to
never reality because
have at least a little bit of dignity.
People are not
that
for class.
People
Go ahead.
will
So
call you
that's
out.
socialist. She only got
So that's how it got started.
Socialist.
And then we met in person. That's boogeyman at a different event. People will call you a socialist. We said for trying to help that we identify with.
It's
but
so nice
isn't
for you
that
finally
we are to make
my
change?
sister.
Isn't that what government is supposed to do? Is we started York County Rising unofficially back in January.
Right.
I've been here. Yeah, it's very fresh. I am from Rock Hill. We had an absolutely in Seattle. I guess I understand
great area, but very
something that it'd be very expensive by the community for the community. Even back when I went out. So I was there. Yes, I started somewhere. That and so. If we're there with you as a noticing again that there wasn't an event in the area, they live up to they pay these values, the campaign money, not for me to across the country. And then
I've known a lot of people in AmeriCorps that are on
people
use
protests absolutely, and it was from immigrants who protest that's very common. Refugee, one of the things that they kind of do this regularly. When you get together with them, everybody in person, there is that's kind of one of there's a liberal side, and then there's a we're going to tell you now how you can get that system because your income and that hard part of it's a living start. We didn't say and we're going to start here, and we're going to be facing So here I am. We started living ridiculous. Okay, let's do what we can do. We are start experiencing something that didn't qualify protests that I would ever see in my meeting previously.
We are Nazi Germany.
So it didn't exactly to see what it was that the community where I could get public assistance. So we are it is a fantastic place. It is such a supportive environment. That just happens to be a school.
We've got to stop.
So it's really desirable really cool areas. But it was close to 500. So you had free. You had very we weren't. And it was. I mean, I got having a wedding. We weren't having
I would call it
the
alligator concentration.
But we were members of non-unionists who had something to say as the drip down. We wanted
taken land away from Native Americans.
Give us sometimes input, like what do you want? So there was what do you want? I experienced a lot, community, and I'm glad I experienced
a lot. The guy who has three sons
we kind of in
California that was beaten, and they arrested him because he supposedly came out with his.
And we know that was the closest what ever
been to homelessness.
And he's running
with his weed whacking.
Right, we have to build something. The call that he made was, "Hey, and will you finish the job?" Kind of a natural way. Not will you come get me. Well, so we the job that I was doing, and it wasn't our vision is about this. No, I haven't. Progressive
it's on my website. It's on my website. Well, we'll talk. Check it out.
Through this
meeting,
this having a solidarity,
and we've actually had a couple of people
being in a community, also providing people a space to, not just to
what's going on?
But at this point, they were pissed off.
At
this point, they were very pissed off. So that protest close to homelessness. It is so close because it was a period of I was for history. I had a car. I had a vehicle that we have. This is where it wasn't ideal. It was a great difficult. It never is to talk about because I was lucky enough to have a vehicle persecution that is through these people. So now, I was lucky enough to find, it is real. But there's a difference we've got between what Israel is doing and it worked out.
But
Netanyahu
is evil.
So I think that's really vice versa with the right love salvation. Zionist, that's not how it works.
Not how it works.
And I would love to get those. That's what's ravaging organizations. That made it a whole lot easier. It was an infant. It was just about an infant at that point.
You don't realize
I think it's 5 years.
It's the British
old. Yeah.
Really.
So starting there. And
what happened,
being intensely involved in volunteering was really where I organically again. So we sat. It just so happens that this is skill sets. This is really how I'm getting my story out there. But it's also how they work together because they don't have being more at the table, the social one. All of that to say, outgoing. Being that's why I'm involved now.
Need to have back on again.
Introvert.
This was a lot
York County Rising. I had that kind of ability. I'm organically about that background. That's what I like to do, and that's part of getting that everything coming back together and writing information. That is part of what I just kind of became. The communicator of this was bringing people together to have these conversations. Because a lot of people feel against where do we go? So isolated. One of the things they originally area was 2024 with community service. But also there was a people accountable. There was a mass call. Ralph Norman accountable. Different progressive organizations. These folks that are some Democrat, not representative organizations, as all came together. Well, it's been said.
I know it's going to cost
we need
more
to
money,
we've had no fewer than
This is not
the
about
betterment
that
of
75.
like,
We can
really?
be angry
Making more
because
money
it
is
is crowd
good?
all of the emotions. The
And
betterment of
getting
the
age
billionaires.
is
It's
just
a
crazy.
let's take that
I
right
know
now.
she was sexually
That
abused.
giant
Talked
one
about
that
it
we
all the
had
time.
was we
So,
are 2,500
okay,
people
get
fighting
over it.
for
And
2,500
don't
people.
have
So
an issue I would have said,
it was
I
from
would have
that.
said
There was
500
a
because I was
bit
low.
of
Sexually abused. He only saw it for
you
an
could have a
hour.
town
Stayed
hall.
for an
They
hour.
set up a thing where you could have a town hall.
it was
rather
I don't want to
diminish
anybody
You have
anybody's
people
community
sign in,
gatherings. Nobody else was doing
no,
one in
not
the area.
anymore.
So lashing out,
oh my gosh,
we tried,
nobody else
but
was doing
the
one.
number of
Are not
people
the
I need to
enemy
jump in
show
and
up
is
at least
really
one
now in our area.
disturbing. We're showing up,
but also I didn't know any of the usually suggested places that I would look at the venue and come out and oh my gosh, they charge for the rent. We are so eventually we're going from a lot guilty a lot. We're Zoom stopping the bi-weekly. Well, during that Zoom holding these folks accountable, showing up to the one where we the person that I about got arrested participate last with the not this past Friday but the Friday so we will definitely have because we showed up at Ralph Norman's office doing that. But in between, we want to just our energy rising so that we can do the down from Mercantile just to his office. Because it was so organic and how are you? Out of that feeling then a straightforward process. What are we going to do? Let's take our emotion or the Constitution and not just feel them, but it now became nine people who wanted to deliver postcards were suddenly an enemy, a terrifying mob of people. When I don't see myself as a threatening, and that's is part of it. Anybody that brings people into with us as a threatening, and if they don't see you, they don't know you're there. They don't know you're working for them. Not a politician. Don't want to be a politician. I've been asked to change my name. I would rather going communities on this one. I don't want to have to go to Columbia or Syria. That is not making good trouble. Right? Is getting in trouble with the community and trying. So yeah, trying to help we do the community get I don't know if you can see it. Ryan move on. See it. Not go and to get rid of some of the things that I feel so strongly about. Are you just to pass some legislation? That's not where I go. I am direct because I don't drive. And I better the homeless. I bet people from the slap in the face. Wow. Oh, I'd love it. Really? They made sure they had money. They did my son-in-law, and they were doing, and he did that video. And then we went to my son actually to me, or I wanted him to has the name recognition to get that really. I came. He would. He's actually my son's nephews right now. Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you what part of the state. Perfectly fine. We're originally that museum from he doesn't get any recognition that he deserves. He is just as bad as Lindsay Graham. So that's how it got started. Okay, then he's just listen. We met in person at a different event, and we said there's nothing that we identify. Okay.
daughters went to
that is
Providence,
going
it
to
was
make
great.
that's going to do
And
something.
then my oldest
So,
went
but yeah,
to
it's
Western Carolina.
we started York County
And
Rising,
then my
together
youngest
unofficially
started at Greensboro
back
and
in
I did a lot.
January.
At the hometown. Okay, wow, because I'm not back to Charlotte. Part of my
Yeah, it's very fresh.
motivation
And
then my son,
what we had a
he's in
vision
Western
for
North Carolina,
was
so
something
so
that
they
the community
love
Western North
friendship
Carolina,
knot.
that
Yeah, they're in
be
Silver.
created
A lot of
by
good
the community
videos
for the
and
community.
articles They ended
about
up.
that
My
group.
daughter was our
First,
history.
we had to start somewhere.
They
One of my
ended up
goals is to go
going
to
back,
the,
and my
Being, working with Move
daughter-in-law
On,
the
noticing
cafe
again
got
there
her
wasn't an
doctorate in
event
physical
in the
therapy.
area.
My son has his
Go on, I'm
doctorate
sorry.
in
Oh no, that's not Moss. And
so
talking
but he
about
got his
talking about
his
the
master's
pop
in
up
social
day
work.
before plan,
So he
giving
came back
help
and
to
they
protest
both
and
went there.
allowing
Lizzie's
fronthless
they
people
followed
to
me here.
protest
And
civil
so
work
she wasn't
and
happy,
to
but
they
never
you
let
should do
because
this
they have
regularly, at least a
they
little
never
bit of
let the
dignity.
professor know
You are
Today,
not
that we
colorful
really should.
class.
People will
And
call you
wow.
it was socialist.
She only got
They
an
will
A-
call
in
you
that
a
course.
socialist.
Really pissed them.
If you and that's a
We're
boogeyman
at her
word, that's
graduation,
part
and
of it.
Dr.
People will call
Wong
you,
is
we didn't
looking
say,
at
oh, we're going to
why
start
are you
here. If we're trying to
And
help,
he's
we are
like,
going to be at
Dr.
this
Wong,
point.
it's so nice
Isn't
for you to
that
finally
what we
meet
are? We started small and said, okay, let's see what we can do.
government is
Let's
supposed to
start
do
really
is
small
I am
with
not a
these
religious
bi-weekly protests.
I am not a religious
We
person,
had
but
a
awesome. Isn't that
meeting
what God
at
teaches
the Mercantile.
us?
I've
I've
talked
what
here
you read the
to
Bible
see what it was
and
that
what God
community
gave
wide.
a place. I like
From
that
Rock,
place. I've never been.
I lived in
cool.
Seattle
I
for 5 years.
fantastic place.
Great area, but very
environment.
Oh, it's very just happens to be a store.
Even back when I went,
it's
really I was
very
yes,
cool
I think that they let us use the space. I moved out there as a AmeriCorps. We weren't. Seems like we weren't. They live up to having a wedding. We weren't having lots of money like that for me to. But we were members of the community. And then
I've known a lot of people in AmeriCorps that are
we wanted people
when
give us immigrants who want that's very common. That's one of the things that they kind of in their that when you get together with them, everybody in person. There is that's kind of one of the things that liberal tell you. And know what there's a hard right. We're going to tell you now how you can get. We know what people don't want.
We have 10 minutes.
We know what is that hard right. You know, it's a living is right now where we have to build something. It wasn't the country is facing and the protest. Here I am. Kind of a natural ridiculous to do this takeover. Expensive as hard. We experiencing something that I didn't qualify. Meanwhile, that I would ever see about this previously this progressive community. So where it didn't exactly slide through this to where I could get having solidarity. So we are this getting in community almost $700 a month a space and to seeing rent not just to be
stop because
but at this point desirable, they were pissed off areas. At this point, they were very pissed off. It was close to 5 protests. So you had very way to start. Yeah, and it was. I mean, I got a basement apartment.
I would call it the alligator concentration.
The ceiling type. It's not just people in.
Somebody died there.
It's the drip down.
They've taken land away from Native Americans.
Like sometimes I hit my head on that. Is through these protests. Yeah, now
what they're doing.
Where do we go? I experienced a lot, and I'm glad I experienced a lot. We've got the people. We've got really
sons.
We've got the resources that brought me back.
That was
because
not
being I paid vice versa,
supposedly
the right loves to say, and that's not how it works.
No,
I mean,
no, he
I would love to get those right, and yes, I mean, all that he made was, hey, will you finish the job for me? Not will you come get me? Will you finish
the job that I was
advertising. My
It
son
wasn't-
have you seen his interview? I pay him rent.
No,
but,
I haven't.
You know,
I
it's
know,
on my
I
website.
know.
It's on my
And
website. Well, we'll talk.
organically,
Check it
again,
out.
back
on
it
track. My
just so
view
happened
is
that
big
the
on
skill
it. We've
skill
actually
sets
had a
that
couple
each
of
of
people
us
join.
that
So
that we
we're
had
I've done and
worked-
we have people
it worked together.
they're
You know,
focusing
being
on
more
what's
the
going on.
the social
Go ahead. What
yeah,
we
more
need
outgoing
to
being,
do to
you know,
stop
because that
it's
more
close
extrovert
to
homelessness.
It
That
is
so
it
close
is.
to it
And,
because
you know, I mean,
it was a period.
I had that
I was for
capability.
history.
The
Other
other
had that.
you know, like,
the
I had a
background of
vehicle
organization.
that-
Like this is
you
where
know,
it wasn't
kind of
everything
was
together.
getting
Difficult. It never
information
is to
out.
talk about because
But I
and
was
I just kind of
became
the person, the communicator
of
that
I
so
could
people
sleep
in.
We got the
I was
folks.
lucky enough
Is
to
there.
find
Got
the
the
energy.
it is real.
To
But there's a difference.
again, where do we go
between
from here?
what Israel is
So
doing
one of the things that we originally
talked
talked
But
about
Netanyahu
was being
in the
community.
evil.
So that's I think
the
that's
Jewish
really
people
also
are not
holding
evil.
the people
Right.
combination
This
of
Zionist
holding
coming out
Ralph Norman
and this
accountable
concept
holding
that
immediately
these
being
folks,
involved
that's
that
what's
are
ravaging
local
things.
organizations.
Not
I didn't
representative.
not
look back,
us.
look
It
at
was
the
a it was an
history said,
infant.
you know,
It was just about
I
an
know
infant
it
at
costs
that point.
money,
I
but
think
it's
it's 5
it's for
years
British. It's for
old.
the
Yeah,
betterment,
joined.
really. It's like,
So
really?
starting
Food
there
more money is what
and
happened, what
being
continues
intensely
to
The betterment
happen.
of the
involved
people.
in volunteering
a crazy. I have a whole
was
history.
really
I
where
know
I found like this is
that
so
talks
satisfying.
history. So
This is
I'll dig
this
into
is
that when
this
I
is
get over it.
this is
And
really
it
how
does
I'm
have,
getting
my
story out there, but it's also
because
how I'm helping other people because they don't have a place at the table.
Right.
So all of that to say,
I don't want to
diminish anybody's
That's why
experience, but
this was a lot.
York County lashing out at a group of folks.
I'm
that
glad we
organically
talked
came
about
enemy.
That's what I like to do,
volunteering
and that's part
with
of
disturbing,
coming back to
York
York County
but
Rising
also
and the
it's
community
that
support
is
team.
part
So
of what
when you
our purpose
next
next month
Donald Trump, who is
was bringing people together to have these conversations.
Guilty.
Because a lot of people
guilty
feel
a lot.
so isolated. So
Yes.
they this area folks accountable showing up.
Tell me
and
how
just
we
about
grow
got
again,
arrested
because
last
no
there was
kidding.
this
There
past
were
Friday's
about
call
500
the
people there
different
throughout the
progressive
week.
organization
And
because we
recently-
showed up at Ralph
No, I didn't
Norman's
make it the
office
last
Democrat
but
some
there were
postcard
like only
organization
30,
that we had
40
just
people.
together.
Well,
and,
it's
and
been
said, oh my God, we need to breathe.
We've had no
fewer
mercantile
than
this is not
about
expected,
75.
and
we
Okay,
can be
totally.
and
because it is
incredibly
proud,
we can
be
be
all
all
of
of
the
the
emotions
emotions been
that
really
we can
straightforward
do.
process.
It's
that you are
let's
state
that
entitled
right
to
now,
under the
that
Constitution, but it's not one that we
became an
had.
issue.
Was
We
are
2,500 people
fighting for
2,500
people.
So
I would have said,
it was
I
from
would have
that.
said
There was a
500. So I was
list
low,
of
but we only
where
saw
you
it for
suddenly
an
have
hour.
a town
Stayed
hall,
for an
a
hour.
set up
terrifying
you could have
mob.
a town
No,
hall
it was
of
rather
rather
community
2,500
gathering.
around 2,500
And
and Rock.
I mean,
You
I
had
don't,
people
I don't
signing
see
in.
myself.
Nobody
as a
else was doing
threat
it
in
not
the area.
anymore. So I was like,
we tried,
nobody else
but
is doing
anybody
number of people
that
I
we
need to jump in
show
and
with
at
us
least
as
have
a
one
threat in
now
our area.
Thank you.
We're
When
showing
you
up.
get this done for
I
Nancy
didn't
Mace.
know too cumbersome they
anything.
usually
that will be a
already know
scary
that I would
time.
look at the
She
venue and
has-
I would say,
you
oh my
will.
gosh, they
I
charge
am-
for you to
but
rent
we
this place.
are
I gotta go.
Eventually I
We're
settled
going
on
well, we did.
that.
I haven't been arrested
we're
yet,
Zoom
so
stopping
it's
community
something,
bi-weekly.
I'm
Well, during
older.
that
It's
Zoom
gotta be
community,
something
we
I
can
achieved in my
transition
life,
to the next.
I think that's
the
part
person
of
that I
it, right?
co-organized
It's part of
school.
this with
is just
happened to be
making
on that
good
call
trouble.
movement. So
getting
we
in
will
trouble.
definitely have
on that
those
call.
big
The
And
only
it is.
person who
And
will
John
definitely
Lewis
be doing
was
that.
an amazing
But in
man.
between, we want to focus our energy rising so that we can do the work and not just the protest. Because it was so organic and it came out of that feeling of,
was amazing.
what are we going to do? Let's take our emotions and not just feel them, but now
Totally. My
felt those emotions. Let's turn this into action.
To give tours of the park because it's an underserved market.
Really?
They made sure they had money for clothes, and they earned their pay. And he did an amazing job. And then we went on. I know that was amazing. And he wanted
that is part of it.
I remember
is bringing people into the conversation. And if they don't see you, they don't know you're there. They don't know you're working for
so
them.
I only walked one way.
Not a politician. Don't want to be a politician. I've been asked, but no, that's nothing I want. I would rather, go in community, stay in community. I don't want to have to go to Columbia or DC. That is not my interest at all.
It was a crazy time.
My interest is being with the community and trying to help the community get through it and not go and have to get rid of some of the things that I feel so strongly about just to pass some legislation.
And when they were trying to bring
that's not where I'm coming from. I am direct community action.
So have you heard of the tried to kill me?
I've
been a nurse in South Carolina.
Wouldn't that be a slap in the face?
Videos and articles about that.
I'd love it.
In history. So they did one of my goals. I would do everything in my power to make
I imagine what
Yeah. My son actually.
Oh no! That's
I wanted him
talking about the name recognition. About
we have to get guy involved, and he would.
Giving help to and allowing homeless people to work and to
what's
have at least a little bit of dignity. He doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. He is just a socialist. So that's how it got started. Socialist. And then
he really has no idea
a boogeyman word, but people will call you a socialist. We said we're trying to help that we identify with. But isn't that what we are to make a change? Isn't that what government is supposed to do? It's being York County Rising, bringing together unofficially your mind.
Isn't that what God teaches
January.
us?
Right.
Okay, wow. Isn't that early starter? Read the Bible.
Yeah, it's very fresh.
What God did.
And we had a vision for. I guess I understand Christianity in a different way, that could be created by the community for the community who lash out. So first, because we had to start somewhere. If working with Move On, are noticing again, there wasn't like an event in the area live up to these values. The campaign was Us Not Must, and folks I had people used to day before planned. People used to protest, help. And it was from immigrants who protest that needed help, who were refugees. You should do this regularly. But now we really should. There's a liberal side, and then there's a hard right side.
Ideas from
it is that hard.
We have 10 minutes.
Okay, and that hard right side. We didn't say really we're going to start here, and we're going to be at this point in August. We started ridiculous. Okay, let's do what we can do. We are
start really small
experiencing
with
something that I
bi-weekly
protests
that I would
Uh,
ever
we
see
had
We
in
have
my lifetime
concentration
meeting
camps.
at
We are Nazi
Mercantile
Germany
to talk to
in
the community,
the
to see what it was
mid
that the
30s.
community
That's what
wanted.
we are. Place. I like
And
that place. I've never been, so
we
it's
are
cool.
the
It is a
townspeople
fantastic
that
place. It
embrace
is such
Hitler
a
and cheer him
supportive
and
environment
do the
that
Nazi
just
salute.
happens to be a
And we've
store.
got to stop
So
because
it's
we
it's a
have
really cool place.
a concentration
But
camp
they let us
in
use the
Florida
space, yep, for free.
that I will
We
not
weren't
call
we
by
weren't
its name.
having a wedding. We weren't
I will
having
call
any
it
kind of event
the
like
alligator
that.
concentration
But we were
camp.
members
Yeah.
of the
That's what it
community
is.
who had
Somebody
something to
died
say.
there.
And we
They've
wanted
taken
people
land away
to,
from Native Americans
give us input.
to
Like,
build
what
it.
do you want in an
What they're
organization?
doing.
What do you
It's
want in a
inhumane.
community action?
What about the
So
guy who has 3
from
Marine
that, we
sons
kind of
in
gleaned that
California
okay,
that was
we know what people
beaten,
don't
and they
want.
arrested
That
him
was
because
the
he
easiest
supposedly
part.
came
We know what
out
people
with them
don't want.
with his
We know now what
weed
is too
whacker.
much. We
No,
know
he was
that,
running with his
right
weed
now,
whacker.
Right.
we have to
And
build
the
something.
call that he
first.
made was, hey,
And
will you
the
finish the
protests
job
were kind of a
for me?
natural way
Not will
to
you
do
come
that.
get me? Will you
So
finish
we
the
kept
job
bringing people
that I was
in,
doing?
and
it
meanwhile,
wasn't.
Have you
our
seen his
vision is
interview
about
after he got out?
this.
No, I
This
haven't.
progressive
I need
It's on my
community,
website.
sure.
It's on my
where
website.
Okay.
through
Check it
this
out.
through this
My
meeting
new
people, through
focus
this having
is
solidarity,
Gaza and the genocide
through
going
this
on.
being in
Yeah.
So
community,
I've been doing. I've
providing
done 2
people a
podcasts. I'll do one
space
tomorrow.
to
But they're focusing
not just to
on
grieve,
what's going on
but at this
in
point
Gaza.
they were
and
pissed off.
what we
At this
need
point they were
to do
very
to
pissed
stop
off.
it, because
So the
it's
protests were
genocide.
It is.
great
It is.
way
And
to
it's
start out.
the
That's how
history
we've met so many people.
of
That's how we have.
this is where it kind of
brought more
becomes
people
a little
in.
difficult to
That's
talk
how
about
we
because
have
the
been able
history
to
of
maintain
the
excitement
persecution of
is through
Jewish
these
people.
protests. So
Right.
now, where do we go?
Is there like
Next
it is
step
real?
It is.
But there's a
is,
difference
okay, we've got the
between
people,
what
we've
Israel
got
is
the
doing
attention,
and
we've got
But
the resources that we
Netanyahu
need.
is evil.
Yeah.
Not being
The Jewish
paid by
people
Soros,
are
like
not
the right loves to
Right.
say.
It's
That's
Zionist,
not how that's not how it works.
it's
not how it
this
works. No.
concept that
I would love to get
is-
those.
that's what's
those Soros
ravaging
checks.
things.
I
If
mean,
anything,
that would
not-
make it a
look
whole lot
Look
easier.
at the history
of launching
of
anything,
how
Palestine
you don't
was
realize
created.
it's the
Getting
British
a website.
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
really at fault
advertising.
for what
Yeah.
happened
It's-
and what
it's a
continues
challenge,
to
so
happen.
I get it.
So
It is.
I have a
And-
whole
and
history thing on that
organically
too. Like
again,
I said, that's
we
I
it
love
just
history,
so
so
happened
I'll dig
that
into
the
that whenever I have
the
a
skill
chance.
sets that
Yeah.
each of us
It's
that
that
we
it's
had
my sucking my
worked.
thumb when I
It
get
worked
bored
together.
with trying to do this.
I
Or get
being more
frustrated with
the
because I'm not growing
the social
enough.
one, being more
but
outgoing, being
Brian, we need to
more
have you
extrovert
back on
than
again.
introvert.
This was a lot of fun.
I had that
Yeah.
capability.
I'm
the other
glad we had to-
that background.
That's what
of
I like to do,
organization,
and that's
like,
part of
getting
that,
everything
coming back
together,
to York County Rising,
getting information
That
out.
is part
And
of what
I
our
just kind of
purpose
became,
began,
the communicator
as
of this.
was bringing
So,
people together to have
got the
these
folks.
conversations.
We've got the energy.
Because people feel
Again, where do we go from
so
here?
isolated.
One of the
We're
things
gonna
that we
drop
originally
soon,
talked
but
about was
we're gonna
being in the
drop soon,
community
but
with community service.
Tell me
But
how
also
we grow it
holding
again, because
people accountable.
No Kings, there were about
Holding Ralph
500
Norman
people there
accountable.
throughout the day.
Holding,
And
these
recently,
folks
now I
that
didn't
are
make it the last weekend,
not
but there were
representing
like only 30,
us as a
40.
whole.
Like he
Well,
said,
it's been
I know it's going to cost more money,
we've
but
had
it's
no
for
fewer
it's for
than
the
about
betterment of us.
75.
It's like,
Okay,
really?
total.
Spending more
Because it
money
is
is
crowd
good?
estimation is
And
the
then
really
Nancy
hard.
Bates
It's
just
an art.
a crazy.
But
I know she was sexually
that
abused. She
giant
talks
one
about
that
it
we
all the
had
time.
was
So
2,500
okay,
people.
get over it.
2,500 people in rock
I would have said 500 because so I was low sexually abused. We only saw it for an hour. We stayed for an hour.
Right. Yeah. No, it was
I don't want
around 2,500
to
diminish
anybody's
experience, but no, not anymore. Lashing out, we tried, but the number of are not the enemy show up is really now disturbing. We're showing up, but also it's just too cumbersome. They usually already know what's going on. They come out because they already knew.
Abuser.
Right. But we are
guilty.
We're going from
a lot.
Guilty a lot. We're stopping the bi-weekly. So
holding
that
these folks
we
accountable,
can
showing up
to the next, where we just about got arrested, fully participate last in the
not this
national,
past Friday, but the Friday
so we
before,
will definitely have
because
those
we
big
showed
protests.
up at Ralph
we will
Norman's
definitely be
office
doing that.
with
but
some
in between,
postcards
we want
that we
to
had just
focus
written.
our energy so that we can do
the
down
work from the
and
mercantile
not just
to
the
his
protest.
office.
Because
you've got
what
to
should have
volunteer.
been incredibly
So
simple.
whatever you need from me,
What should have been a
I'm there. I
straightforward
will
process
help out.
that you
And,
are, entitled to
you
under
help
the
me
Constitution
grow, I'll
became an
I'll
issue.
do whatever I can.
It became
Totally.
My
that
target market is retirees, seniors,
9 people
and
who
disabled
wanted
people.
to deliver
Because
postcards
it's an underserved market, and I want to
were
give a voice
suddenly an
to that
enemy, a
community
terrifying
that
mob
doesn't typically
of
have a
people.
voice. They're scared.
And
I'm not.
I mean, I don't see
scare,
myself
so.
as a threatening person.
And
that is part
I don't
of it.
see anybody
bringing people into the
with us as a
conversation.
threatening
and if they
when you
don't
get
see
this
you,
done
they
for Nancy
don't know you're
Mace?
there. They don't know you're working
that
for
will be a
them.
scary time.
Not a
She
politician.
You will.
Don't want to be
I
a
wanna be there.
politician. I
gotta go.
I've been asked, but no,
Well, we did,
that's
I haven't
nothing
been
I want.
arrested yet.
I would
so,
rather,
it's something,
going community,
I'm older.
stay
It's gotta be
in
something I
community.
achieve in my life,
I don't want to have
I
to
think
go
that's
to
part of it, right?
Columbia,
I mean, that's
or
part of the
goal.
experience.
That is not my
making
interest
good
at all.
trouble.
My interest
getting
is
in
being
trouble.
with the community and
it is.
trying
And John
to
Lewis was an
trying to
amazing
help
man.
the community get through it,
One of
and
the
not
greatest
and
experiences
not
of my
go
life.
and
We were
have
supposed to go on a
to
cruise to Alaska
to get
but
rid of some
it
of
was
the
COVID,
things
so
that
we
I
didn't
feel
go.
so
We
strongly
ended up going
about,
to Birmingham, Alabama,
just to pass some legislation.
which was
That's
amazing.
That's not where I'm coming
the
from.
church was
I am
closed where the
direct
girls
community
were bombed.
action.
Stephen Colbert, my but we had there were senators paid the
in
homeless
South Carolina.
Wouldn't
to
that
give
be a
tours
slap in the
of
face?
the park.
Oh, I'd love
Really?
it.
They made sure they had money for
would
clothes.
I would
do
and
everything in my power to
and
he did an amazing job.
Yes.
And then we went to the Edmund he could actually the following day. I
Yeah.
mean,
He has the name recognition.
We have to get rid of my cane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my son Trump has something drove across on him because
Has to.
took me back. So I only walked one way. But we went. What's our other senator's name?
Tim
That museum was
Scott.
not. So we got.
He
to go in
doesn't get
museum,
the recognition
and
that he
guy
deserves.
that talked
He
about
is
it
just as
from
bad
right
as
over the
Lindsey
bridge.
Graham to me.
He wasn't
He's
homeless, but he
he's
did a
just
great
as
job. He
complicit.
really has no
it was
idea
an amazing
what's
event.
going on with finances.
It was just-
when he was with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell just like
Incredible.
over them
And,
both. I would have
Yeah.
liked gone
It
to
was
Homer,
great. It was
Alaska,
classic.
but I appreciate
yeah,
going
it's-
to
it's-
Birmingham and
It's
getting
it's
true
bringing
sense of
together.
the civil rights. So if you haven't been to my website, I did a lot of delving
because I'm not from here. So part of my motivation is history. So a lot of my site delves into the civil rights movement in Rock Hill, in
Yeah.
the Friendship Nine. So
Right.
just a lot of good videos and articles about that group and history. So one of my goals is to go to the cafe, the diner.
Yeah.
So I want to go there. So go on. I'm sorry I
Oh,
interrupted.
no, no, no. That's and talking about the giving help to and allowing homeless people to work and to have at least a little bit of dignity.
People are
Today,
not
that is
tolerant here.
people
People
will
are
call you
not
a
tolerant.
socialist. They will call you a socialist if you, and that's a boogeyman word, but people will call you a socialist for trying to help your community. But isn't that what we are here for? Isn't that what government is supposed to do, is
I am not
represent
a
the
religious person.
people?
I am not a religious person, but
Neither am I.
isn't that what God teaches us?
Right.
Isn't that what you read the Bible and what God did?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I understand Christianity in a different way than people who lash out do. Because yes, I think that if if you are a Christian, it seems like you would live up to these values. And folks used to, people used to help the homeless. People used to help immigrants who needed help, who were refugees. They used to do that. But now it's there's a liberal side and then there's a hard right side. And that
We
hard
have 10 minutes.
Okay. That hard right side is really where the country is facing the this ridiculous takeover. We are experiencing something that I didn't think that I would ever see
We
in
have
my lifetime.
concentration camps. We are
Right.
Nazi Germany in the mid 30s. That's what we
Yeah.
are. And we we are the townspeople that embrace Hitler and cheer him and do the Nazi salute. And we've got to stop because we have a concentration camp in Florida
Yep.
that I will not call by its name.
No.
I
It
will
is a
call it
concentration
the
camp.
alligator concentration camp
Yeah.
because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Somebody died there. They've taken land away from Native Americans to build it. What they're doing.
It's inhumane.
What about the guy who has three Marine sons
Yeah.
in
It was
California
snatched.
that was beaten and they arrested him because he supposedly came out with them with his weed whacker? No, he was
And
running with his weed whacker.
right. And the call that he made was, "Hey, will you finish the job for me? Not will you come get me? Will you finish the job that I was doing?" It wasn't
Have you seen his interview after he got out?
No, I haven't. I need to
It's on
check
my
that out for
website.
sure.
It's on my website.
Okay.
So check it out. My new focus is Gaza and the genocide
Mm.
going on.
Yeah.
So I've been doing, I've done two podcasts. I'll do one tomorrow, but they're focusing on what's going on in Gaza and what we need to do to stop it because it's genocide.
It is. It is. And, it's the history of it, this is where it kind of becomes a little difficult to talk about because the history of the persecution of Jewish people
Right.
um is there. Like it is
It
real.
is.
But there's a difference between what Israel is doing and
But
it's a Zion.
Netanyahu is evil.
Yeah,
The Jewish people are not evil.
right.
They,
This Zionist this concept that's what's ravaging things.
if
That is
anything, you
not,
look at the history of how Palestine was created. It's the British
yeah,
are really at fault for what happened and what continues to happen. So, I have a whole history thing on that too, because like I said, I love history. So I'll dig into that whenever I have a chance.
yeah,
It's, it's my sucking my thumb when I get bored with trying to do this or get frustrated with this because I'm not growing it enough. So, but Brian, we need to have you back on again. This was a lot of fun.
yeah. I'm glad we had to, but that's what I like to do. And that's part of that coming back to York County Rising. That is part of what our purpose began as was bringing people together to have these conversations because people feel so isolated that
We're gonna drop
this
soon, but
area.
we're gonna drop soon. But tell me how we grow it again because no Kings, there were about 500 people there throughout the day. And recently, now I didn't make it the last weekend, but there were like only 30, 40.
Well, we've had no fewer than about 75.
Okay, total.
Because it is crowd estimation is really hard. It's an art. Um, but that giant one that we had was 2,500 people. 2,500 people in Rock Hill, South
I would have said
Carolina.
500. So I was low, but we only saw it for an hour. We stayed for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was 2,500 around 2,500 people,
Wow.
which in Rock
Do you
Hill
have people
is
sign
amazing.
in?
No, not anymore. We tried, but the number of people who show up now or were showing up, it's just too cumbersome. They usually already know what's going on. They come out because they already knew. But we're going from that. We're stopping the biweekly so
Okay.
that we can transition to the next, where we fully participate in the national movements. So we will
Oh,
definitely have those big protests. We will definitely be doing that. But in between, we want to focus our energy so that we can do the work and not just the protest. Because
well,
the
you've got
protest
a volunteer. So whatever you need from me, I'm there. I will help out. And if you help me grow, I'll recruit. I'll do whatever I can.
Totally.
My target market is retirees, seniors, and disabled people
Yeah.
because it's an underserved market, and I want to give a voice to that community
Yeah.
that doesn't typically have a voice. They're scared.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't scare. So
Right. And that is part of it, is like I said, bringing people into the conversation. And if they don't see you, they don't know you're there. They don't know you're working for them. Not a
you're so right.
politician.
You're so right.
Don't want to be a politician. I've been asked, but no, that's nothing I want. I would rather, go in community, stay in community. I don't want to have to go to Columbia or DC. That's that is not my interest at all. My interest is being with the community and trying to help the community get through it, and not go and have to get rid of some of the things that I feel so strongly about just to pass some legislation. That's not where I'm coming from. I am direct community action.
Hey, have you heard Stephen Colbert might run for senator
Really?
in South Carolina?
Wouldn't that be a slap in the face? Oh, I'd love it.
I would
I
too.
would
I would
love it.
do everything in my power to make that a win
Yes.
because he could actually, I mean,
He
we
has the
have
name
to get,
recognition.
we have to get rid of Lindsey Graham.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know Trump has something on him because
Has to.
and what's our other senator's name?
Tim Scott.
Scott.
He
It's
doesn't
Scott.
get the recognition that he deserves. He is just as bad as Lindsey Graham to me. He's he
And
is
what
just as
he
complicit.
really has no idea what's going on with finances. When he was with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell walked like over them both.
Yeah.
It was great. It was classic.
But yeah, it's bringing together